All right, everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017. All right, so today we have a sort of split day. We've got the moon in Pisces the first half of the day, then the moon in Aries the second half. So these are very different qualities, right? Very different energies here we're talking about. Now, mind you, we are in the ending phase of this lunar cycle still. We're in the balsamic phase. We're going to have a new moon on Thursday. So generally, it is a lowering energy time as we approach Thursday. However, the first half of today could be particularly so with the moon in Pisces, which is very much about intuition, inner guidance, getting a bit of a space perhaps, or a bit of presence in our life. And then as we shift into the second half, we may start to feel like we're wanting a bit of independence. That's the Aries energy, which is normally quite fiery, and we could certainly feel this way. Again, this is the ending of this last cycle, which is usually a more reflective time. So this is synonymous with the fact that this last lunar cycle was in Aries. So I think a really good way of experiencing the second half is, you know, what did we learn or what did we experience this past 28 days roughly regarding Aries, regarding our initiative, regarding our independence, regarding the things we want in life, and sitting with this, feeling it, and perhaps doing those things that are a bit more active or a bit more initiative can help us feel nice and emotionally rooted here today. All right, so that's the gist of the day because everything else is minor lunar aspects. We do have a grand trine taking place the first half in Pisces with the moon. And then the second half, the moon's going to go over Mercury, who's been in active Aries, which is involving our mind and communication. All right, so let's go and look at this in more detail when we return. All right, so there's the moon right in between these two constellations. Now, this sort of split of the day is going to be mostly applicable if you're in the Americas. If you're in Europe, and especially if you're in the East, New Zealand, Australia, that sort of thing, you do want to watch this for the previous day's video. So it does mean that for especially you in the East, on the 23rd, it will likely still be very watery for you. And it'll be more on the 24th, when you start to get into more of that active energy there with Aries. But either way, there's certainly a shift taking place these next couple days from the watery Pisces, again, intuition, inner guidance, spirituality can go well. We are in the ending phase of this cycle, so getting a bit of rest, relaxation, right, a bit of space in our everyday experiences can be great. So looking at this first in terms of the first half of these aspects, because things certainly are split here today. The moon is going to be going over Uranus in Pisces, which has been forming a grand trine to Saturn and the North Node. So this is activating something that was activated on a larger sense last weekend, in the earlier part of last weekend, when we had Uranus trining up to Saturn, right? So it's going to activate that. If you felt like last weekend, if there was anything that you felt a bit more inspired to do, like there's some aspirations you want to build towards in your life, but you know it's going to take some time, yet you're probably quite grounded with it, which is the trine to Saturn. It is an excellent day to now maybe continue to cultivate some of that. Because between now and November really is the time of cultivating this both freedom in our life, building our life so that it's an expression of what we're truly about, while at the same time taking the slow and steady approach, right? The grounded approach, which is Saturn. And so that is you know, generally what's going on, and today there could be a nice step in that direction. And a lot of it is about our life path, right, with the trine up to the North Node. So listening to what gives you excitement, passion, you know, self-expression, what sparks that inner flame is all part of it in the larger sense. All right, but it's still watery. You know, Uranus has been showing us in Pisces that this freedom is about freedom of surrender, freedom of letting go of things outside of our control, which can free us up. Right? And this is a spiritual liberation point that, again, is being activated today. So then as we get into the second half, slowly but surely, again, it'll be subtle, but we'll start to feel a bit more of that independent energy, maybe wanting to get active, driven, initiating things. But what I think probably more so is just a little bit more clarity about what we want. All right? So we've had Mercury in Aries already. So there's already been this shift. And now with the moon going over Mercury, a bit more clarity about who we are, what we want, and what our personal needs are. Okay, so with Mercury, the second half, we could be communicating this. We could be thinking about this. We could be coming up with some ideas, perhaps. In fact, the second half of the day is really good for thinking, writing, coming up with plans, projects, maybe starting something new with the routine, anything that gets really that practical aspect of yourself activated. And there could even be a new beginning with this. So sitting with it, again, we are in the ending phase. We're going to have a new moon next Thursday, so just around the corner. It is a good time to just sort of be sitting with the energies, seeing what's starting to shape up in our life. And then later this week, really good for then taking the action and steps towards cultivating them. So the second half, maybe you just feel like you want to get some physical exercise, physical activity, write down some plans, do some reading, writing, things like that. It can, again, your mind, all of our minds can be quite active with Mercury in Aries. All right, so that's the day in a nutshell. First half, intuitive, receptive, Piscean still, especially with this ending phase, reflecting on the past lunar cycle. And then as we get into Aries, the second half, although probably feeling quite active, also reflecting on what we've learned this past lunar cycle about what we want in life, about the importance of taking initiative, right? Actually taking action, and through action, learning and experiencing, and then getting things moving, in that sense, learning about ourselves through action. So I'm sitting with it though. Yep. And then of course, this whole new beginning is going to be in Taurus on Thursday, which will be a whole new beginning about our values, accessing a bit of that resourceful side of ourselves. And it's all about slow and steady progress, right? So I think we're already focused on things in this way. We've had Mars and the Sun already in Taurus, but certainly new beginnings around the corner with this, slow, steady building towards our values in life. All right, so have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.